Quit playing with your beard, Will. Welcome to Third
Never.
Side, everyone. Tonight we're talking about Satanism and gaming. What are you doing, Jared? How you doing?
Doing good.
That's great.
Doing
That's
good.
great. Our guests tonight are Raul Antony and Will Tull. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, everyone.
Nice.
Hey guys. Nice to be here.
All right. Take care, guys. See you later.
All right, guys.
Well, that was fun. Yeah, good show. Best one yet. Put it in
Game
the can.
over.
Okay, bye. All right.
Yeah, right.
Guys, gaming. I mean, when I say gaming, what immediately pops into your head? What's the first game that comes into your head? Raul, you go first.
Oh shoot. Well, right now, it's Mountain Blade is what I've been playing. It's a PC game from 2010 or so. I'm mostly a PC gamer, so that's probably what pops in my head.
Oh, okay. Will?
Fuck, man. Anything that, Mario comes to mind from back in the day, my Xbox.
Nice.
Yeah, Mountain Blade, also a good one. That is a fantastic choice. These days, all about Kingdom Come Deliverance. That's 14th century, like, medieval RPG.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but it is hardcore. Oh my God. It's
Yeah.
quite
Is it
good.
PC?
Heard of either of those two.
No, it's all the consoles, all the big consoles, PC, PlayStation, Xbox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, super authentic 14th century storyline, really in-depth sword fighting mechanics and melee combat. Really
Controversial, too.
hardcore RPG. Like,
How
yeah,
so?
it's a good one.
I like it already.
How
You
so?
had me,
What
you had me at
happened,
controversial. Yeah, what's that?
Well, let's see, because it's in the 14th century, so I don't know if you can imagine this, but you can't play as a person of color. Female roles aren't, exact. There's not like, Valkyrie women coming in swinging swords. It's very authentic. So
I'm
a lot
triggered.
of,
I'm triggered. That's awesome.
yeah, great, exactly. Yeah,
Not
a
good
lot of,
then. Yeah,
most,
good.
most of the female roles are relegated to, noble ladies,
And
very
wenches.
cool from their time, and then wenches, of course. Yeah, bathhouse maids and things
Woman.
like that.
Beer.
What's this one called? So now I have to check it out.
Kingdom Come.
Yeah, exactly. And no, it's really meticulously researched, very hardcore. It plays like an RPG, kind of from like the 90s, in that it doesn't give a shit about your feelings, when the last time you saved was, the difficulty scaling. I mean, it's pretty choice. Think of it like Skyrim without any magic or dragons or anything like that, and just
That sounds very
a really-
satanic, Will.
It's a very in-depth game. Very takes a lot of skill, a lot of patience, but yeah, it's pretty badass.
Yeah. I don't know about the patience part, but
Sounds
yeah.
like it. Now I gotta check it out.
Yeah, worthy.
Kingdom Come. Nice. You both mentioned Mount and Blade. Is that strictly PC or what?
It's so funny because it's such an obscure game that I don't think there's only going to be a small percentage of people who probably listening who get that. Well,
There's like
mostly
one
PC
person
gamers.
that's like, yeah, I love that game.
I know
I just looked it up. It said 7 downloads. That's great. No.
It's a indie game put out. Yeah, there was Mountain Blade, Warband, Mountain Blade, Fire and Sword with Fire and Sword. The latest one is with Fire and Sword, which is what I'm playing right now. And it's an open world game. You start off, you create a character, and you're a guy on a horse in the middle of like medieval Europe, and it says, "Go start your adventure." And you go to cities, you get jobs, you hire mercenaries, you start to build like a little army. You can then do jobs for other like warlords or kings, and then you could either join up with a kingdom to fight against another kingdom, or you could build your own. You could start to lay siege to fortresses and take over fortresses with your army, and then carve out your own little space. It's totally open world. So
Can you rape and pillage, particularly the rape?
well, not so much the raping, but you can do pillaging. Yeah, you can go into
Absolutely
a village and be
pillage.
like,
I mean,
what's that?
Would you say, Will?
oh no, you can absolutely pillage. Yeah, and then in
Yeah.
fact, the pillaging is kind of that's how you fund a lot of your war campaigns. Yeah. On the surface, when you look at it, it's like, what is this? This simple little thing, but it has so many layers. There's so many things you can do with Mountain Blade. Like if you just want to run trade routes and look at, play from the economy side. If you just want to like chat up like the nobles and play like a political game, it's got that. If you just want to hire like 300 mercenaries and then just storm castles and just cut people's heads off, you can do that. It's
So violent.
yeah, it's really engaging, really
Yeah, that's the
simple in
kind of
presentation, and when you look at it, yeah, it's kind of it kind of throws you off at how simplistic it looks. The graphics look kind of dated. They do have a copy on Xbox One. It's just the flat vanilla version of Warbands. It goes on sale all the time. I got it for like $4 and was blown away. I was like, "What is this thing? How have I never heard of it?"
How much are
And
they paying you to advertise their shows?
Yeah.
They don't have enough money to pay me. They don't have enough. They've been teasing a sequel to this game for like 6 years, and they can't. They
Yeah.
haven't even gotten it out, and people are actually pretty salty about it. So they couldn't pay me enough to.
That also sounds satanic.
It's pretty. Yeah, they'll get it when they get it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez.
Yeah, and it's funny, talking about satanic games. I mean, I like the games where you have open worlds. You can create your own character. You can do your own thing. So I tend to be a PC gamer in that sense because you get a lot of the indie games that allow you to do that. And there's also some MMOs that I've played that give you that the kind of sandbox environment, which I like, which gives you, that
what's
kind of
an MMO
freedom
for those that
to
don't
create
know?
your own thing. What was that?
An MMO, what's that for people that are listening?
That's a massively multiplayer only game. So it's something like World of Warcraft, but specifically I play mostly
EverQuest
EVE
was a
Online.
big one. Yeah, there's a lot of them these days, and yeah, it's that is one of the I think the big appeal to those types of games is that you literally are just dropped in, small fish in a big pond. Normally you get to play how you want, look how you want, set up your little house how you want. It's like a total like virtual environment. It's
PUBG.
that you have total control over. You can play it socially. I mean, a lot of them you end up having to play socially, but there's actually a big shift towards being able to play MMOs single player. That's a huge draw for a lot of people because I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of people online when you play games kind of suck. So I mean,
And the others cheat.
yeah, exactly. There's suck asses
Or,
and cheaters.
you know what's really annoying? You're online with other people in a multiplayer game, and you have to communicate, and you don't have a fucking mic.
Oh my god.
I
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
hate that. I hate that.
Yup.
Like PUBG, right? That's one of my games right there. I love PUBG. I was gonna set up a PC and get all that shit and everything when I was watching what's his name, Stone Mountain 64.
Oh, yeah, I love Stone Mountain. Yeah. Mhm.
Funny dude. I love when he does YOLO on the battlefield. It's hilarious. Your commanding officer, he gets all nutty. And but that's what turned me on to the game. I started watching this thing. I'm like, this game is awesome. And I was gonna build a PC, and I said nah because I got the word that Xbox was coming out with, and when I got it, I just fell in love with it. And every day, I play every day before I go to bed. It's like my ritual. But again, open world. You get dropped out of a plane where, you get to choose where you want to drop with your squad or duo or solo and stuff, but you're immersed in this thing and other people might be dropping with you. So quickly grab a gun, grab some ammo, get some backpack, get some stuff and like shoot or punch your way to survival,
I'm gonna have to
Chicken
try
dinner.
this one.
It's
Yeah.
chicken
Get that
dinner.
frying pan and get your swing on. Yeah.
I got a few solo chicken dinners, I think 3
Nice.
so far, and
Nice.
duo I got like I think 9 or 10, and then squad I got like maybe 20.
Have you
Kill
played
it.
Fortnite?
Kill it.
No, I downloaded it when it was free, so I got
Uh-huh.
it. But now they're charging or something like that. And I installed it and everything, but I haven't given it a shot yet because I can't get away from PUBG.
It's similar to it, but it's more cartoony, right, in the aesthetic. But you could also build stuff. So like in the middle of a gunfight, you can build a wall in front of you, right? So you can move away.
Yeah.
You can build like a little fort, right? Hence the name. So I don't know. It seems to be more popular with the younger kids right now. That rapper Drake, he started playing it, and that became kind of a meme of itself. So
Drake, I never heard of her. And then Far Cry 5 just came out.
Mhm.
So
That one's looking good.
I snagged that and fell in love with it. It's essentially you have to take down this wacky drug-induced cult, and survive. And everything can attack you, man. I mean, bears, cougars.
It's Red
Fucking
State the game.
turkeys. Yeah.
Did you ever see Red State, the Kevin Smith movie?
Absolutely
Oh
not.
man, you gotta watch that. It's Kevin Smith. For those who don't know, that's Silent
Okay,
Bob
yeah.
from Jay and Silent Bob. he wrote a movie. It's basically slamming on the Westboro Baptist Church, and the way he got away with not getting sued is by making a line in the movie that says, "No, these are way worse than those guys," but it's
Oh,
making fun of them.
nice.
But Far Cry 5, that's what appealed to me when I saw the trailer for it and what it was all about. It's Red State the game. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you haven't seen that movie, check it out.
Well, yeah, you can tell they modeled the main guy after the Waco, Texas guy, the Davidians, I
Koresh.
can't remember that guy's name.
David Koresh.
But
David Koresh, yeah.
yeah, that guy exactly. Yeah. Oh, you can tell like they modeled him like almost exactly to that guy. But
So when does the
nobody
government
cares
come
'cause
in
he's-
and torture
he's in that
everybody?
job. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because he's having sex with all the women in the game. It's weird.
Yeah.
No.
Isn't that part of like
Actually,
starting a
like,
cult
did they
though?
really do
That's like half of starting a cult. It's like the sex and then the power, right? Or like, am I missing something?
No, that's what it is.
Generally.
And his last name in the game is Seed.
Oh yes.
Okay, I got you.
There you go.
Yeah. I was gonna
Great
say
game.
I haven't played Far Cry 5 too much yet. I got to see it on launch night at my buddy's house, and I just want to say just that opening intro when that guy throws himself into the helicopter blades, like that kind of stuck with me a little bit. Like, holy shit, those guys are fucking maniacs. Like,
Yeah.
right in the opening of the game, you're trying to escape in the helicopter, and you got like these cultist guys climbing all over your chopper, and like right up on the windshield, there's this guy, and he just like makes eye contact, and then just throws himself up into the helicopter blades. And it's just like there's just blood smear and dog kibble goes flying everywhere. It's like, oh my god,
Dog
that
kibble.
is. Yeah, that kind of stuck with me a little bit.
Like Kibbles and Bits, but different.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I'm backtracking. I just finished Arkham Knight, and I'm working on Witcher 3. Geralt, man.
Yeah.
Geralt.
Oh, dude, Witcher
That
3.
is-
Oh my god.
That game, I had to take a break from it because it's one of those
it's
it's
super-
one of those games life. All of a sudden it's 3 a.m. and your eyes are like you're still staring at it, but
I liken that game
I
to
put
like
toothpicks in
Christmas
mine.
fudge. Like, yeah, I liken that game to like Christmas fudge. You love it. It's so good, but if you eat, it's so rich that it's easy to just like lose yourself in eating it. Like, it's so good.
he's just such a third side character. I mean, especially with the way they do his dialogue.
100%.
When you'll get a dialogue and they'll do just enough to where you think that if I click this, I'm going to do the passive version. And all of a sudden he flips on him, and the passive answer you thought you were going for was him very subtly saying fuck off. And then it starts
Yeah.
the fight. And you're like, oh, so I mean, you're completely guessing, and he never goes the direction that anyone thinks. It's I think the dialogue in itself is its own schematic for the entire game. It's fantastic.
Oh, just yeah, the way that game is written and the characters and everything. I mean, yeah, Geralt of Rivia, that guy is absolutely a satanic gaming archetype, like 100%. That guy's
Oh yeah.
fantastic.
You played it, Raul?
It's funny. I have all three of them. I just haven't played them. I'm like a
Wait to dive in,
collector.
man. Dive in, and we'll see you in a year.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I actually played the first one a little bit, and I liked it, and I really liked the combat mechanics, and that was a thing. It was really pretty hard from what I remember. You had different angles that you can swing your sword in, and the way you defend yourself and parry attacks. It was very intricate from what I remember. Yeah.
They've streamlined a lot of it now,
Yeah.
but it's still just as layered combat with the magic and then bombs and then you're choosing the different swords and things like that. He's like a fantasy medieval Batman.
It was funny that you mentioned the combat for me because I had started playing it right after finishing Dark Souls 3. So when
yeah.
I got in there, I was beating people on a level that I had no business not being dead yet.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know how
yeah.
to roll. So
Yep.
my character's like a level 5 and a level 15 would come down, and the way they do their leveling system is if the number's in red, he's going to be a challenge, and if
Yeah.
they just put a skull up, then that means he's going to one-shot you. And I'm surviving way too long against these guys because they can't hit me. And I'm like Dark Souls for the win.
Have you played
Fucking roll?
Have you played Bloodborne?
No, and Steph is gonna punch me in the face if she ever sees me because she loves that one. I don't have a
Yeah.
PlayStation. I have an Xbox.
It's
So
a
I'm
PS4
waiting-
exclusive.
Ah.
It's a
Yeah.
PS4 exclusive, and I've got to. I'm gonna eventually either break down and get it, or just keep my fingers crossed
Yeah.
that it comes out on Xbox because
I
that one-
don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah, I don't think that'll ever happen. No, it's a masterpiece of a game too. Probably I wouldn't say my favorite in the series, but as far as aesthetics and like visuals go,
Well, yeah,
it's
it's an
definitely
H.P.
my
Lovecraft
favorite.
inspired game.
Oh man, hard, yeah, like on its sleeve the whole time, on its blood-stained and tattered sleeve. Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah, I
So
mean,
yeah,
you're
it's
it's
like
trying to
good,
a
look
but
for
it
old
is,
ones.
yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
the difficulty is much higher, and some more obtuse mechanics, I would say. But yeah, it's a great entry in the series, definitely.
I'm like
Yeah.
95% through with it. And this is like a bad habit. Like I get addicted to these games, and then at some point, like I go squirrel, and then I go after another game, and I completely drop off.
Oh
So
yeah,
I need to get back to it and finish it up. But yeah, it's like Lovecraft filtered through a Japanese gothic nightmare. It's like
Yeah.
it's got that Japanese aesthetic to it, but very much Lovecraft influence, occult influenced. There's like that anime Berserk has a lot of influence in it, just
I love
giant
that show.
swords and blood. Um, yeah, and the combat's really in depth. It's pretty tough. There's also like this the environment, the way the story works, like when the moon is in certain phases, certain events occur, a certain certain enemies are active during certain times of day, certain characters, NPCs interact with you based on different things going on in the story. So
Mhm.
it's a pretty immersive environment. I would say it's got a satanic kind of sense to it because you are kind of like an ambiguous character, and just the aesthetic, the dark aesthetic is to me
I
very
think more.
appealing.
I think what you'll find behind it that's really most satanic is Miyazaki, the director himself, and the way he designed the entire series. Like
Yeah.
he started, for anyone who hasn't seen it, he started in a time where you're being inundated with the ability to change difficulties on the fly. You could save anywhere, and Miyazaki said, "Nope, I'm making a game. It's going to be this hard. You'll either pass or you'll fail. There's no
Yep.
saving. There's no pausing. If you hit the start
no,
menu to
nope,
pull up to change your weapon, the bad guys keep coming. Oh, your weapon broke? Tough shit. Keep playing. There's no pausing. There's no saving. You get checkpoints
That's the
that
same
you can
game?
jump to. Yep. And
Well,
every time
it's
you
it's
reach
the
a
genre
checkpoint,
game.
yeah,
Yeah.
every time you reach the checkpoint, you can restore your health, but it puts all the bad guys back.
yeah, it's
So you
like
will
Contra,
completely undo
like
the save.
yeah, or like
Yeah,
Mega Man. You go out of an area and you come back, then yeah, the enemies are all back.
they're
You have
all
to fight
back.
them all
So
again. You know.
you either have to figure out and explore, look for a shortcut that'll let you bypass stuff, which there's plenty of them, or get good. That's the phrase in Dark Souls. The entire
Get
series is
good.
get good. Just
Good.
get good, and then you'll actually
Get good.
find yourself getting to the end of the level without needing so much help,
Hmm.
and then you'll get your ass kicked by the boss and start all over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, rinse, repeat. You're good.
Yeah, they call them roguelikes because there was an old PC game called Rogue where it was
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
It's like you have one character and he dies and then you start all over. Like you start with your inventory from scratch, so you just keep playing see as far
One
as you
and
can
done,
get.
basically. Yeah, one and
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
I like
Yeah.
ones like that, like State of Decay, too.
Oh,
Games
yeah.
like the zombie game, like State of Decay, brings back permadeath.
Yep.
So you'll spend all your time trying to develop a character, and then you'll make one mistake, and your character's gone for the rest of the playthrough.
Yep.
Yep.
Like that's it. And there is again no saving. No, I mean you save where you are, but you can't really load back. If that's how you want to explain
Yeah,
it.
you can't spam on this. You can't like save your game, then try something, and if it doesn't work out, just reload your game and just go back
It-
over it again.
Is that
It's
new?
gone.
State of Decay, is that a new game?
State of Decay came out a couple years ago.
Oh.
They made a couple add-ons. It's probably cheap right now and it's online, but
Yeah, and
I've
the
already
second
been
one
reading
is
that
on the
part 2's
horizon
coming out, and
too.
it's gonna be multiplayer.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's a survival zombie game. I mean, your guys get sick. You got to go find ibuprofen. You get the flu in the middle of a zombie battle.
Well, have you
And
played
then,
Dead Rising, John?
Oh
I
yeah.
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
play it,
yeah,
but
wow,
I
It's
that's
like
saw
that.
it.
It's like Dead Rising.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing
Because
that
I
was
had,
cool
I think
about State
on
of
the harder
Decay-
difficulties, it was one shot, right? From what I remember.
Yeah.
The thing that was
Crazy.
cool about State of Decay is it
I-
kept playing when you turned it off. So you'd wake up after, you'd go to sleep, go to work, come back, turn it on, and your characters have all moved. And some of them are missing, and now you got to find them, and ammo's missing. Like, the game keeps playing, and they just simulate it for you. And he's like, oh, Johnny's missing or Bobby's missing, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh.
And sometimes it's better. It's like, oh, Johnny and Bobby went out and liberated that, that stock house, and so now you've
good
got
on
that
ya.
as a base. But 9 times out of 10, Johnny and Bobby
Would
are
never be
completely
Johnny.
fucked.
David's gay now. He was a lumberjack this morning. It's just
Yeah. Apparently, he was born that way, and now he's just
It's on the
realizing
Vanity
it.
Fair.
yeah. I like for zombie stuff. I like Left 4 Dead 2.
Big
Yeah.
time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Those were
100%.
classics.
I want
Probably
part
my
3 to come
favorite
out.
zombie game. Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Love that.
So which
Yeah.
games grabbed your attention when you were younger? Like when you were younger, which games were the first ones that you thought of?
How young? Because I remember
Um,
ColecoVision, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
if Galaga got you, then I'm
I like,
just in
yeah,
general.
I'm like old school, or anything that was in an arcade cabinet. It didn't matter what it was. It didn't matter if it was like a bowling simulator, Spy Hunter,
Pole
or,
position.
with the steering wheel, or anything. Just if it was in an arcade cabinet, I wanted to play it. I wanted to just throw money into it and just see what it was all about.
Yeah.
Good or bad, whatever. At the time.
Dig
there-
Dug.
there-
Remember that one?
Yeah. Oh
Dig
God,
Dug.
Dig Dug, Bubble Bobble, like just funneling
Centipede.
quarters into that. Yeah. Oh, big
Yeah.
time. Just throwing them in there, like yes, yeah, 100%. And then
one of my-
oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say one of my fondest memories is every summer my family would go to Coney Island in New York, and
yeah.
my dad would just load me up with quarters and drop me off at the arcade, and he'd do this thing where there's this one game where you could put in quarters and it drops into like a stack, and then it spits out like real money. Like nowadays it's all tickets, but back then it was
Not
real
tickets,
money.
yeah.
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 But anyway, so he would like be playing this game and he'd give me a bunch of money to go play like, the arcade games while he essentially gambles. And I would be playing like the X-Men arcade game, the
Oh, yeah.
X-Men was
Simpsons,
my
like those
favorite.
old like Konami or Capcom like beat 'em up games.
Like
Yeah.
Ninja
Body
Turtles,
blow.
like Turtles in
Body
Time,
blow.
or Streets
Yeah.
of Rage, yeah.
Yeah.
Streets of Rage.
That's I spent a lot of money like
Mhm.
playing that stuff. Yeah, and
Yeah, I think I have
consoles.
PTSD from all the allowances I funneled into the X-Men arcade game. Never
Yeah.
fucking
X-Men was
beat it. Never, ever,
Storm.
ever. I must have spent
Oh, you couldn't
hundreds
beat
of
it.
dollars.
You
Like-
couldn't beat it.
You get to that end, like I could get to the end part where it's just like the boss finale where you fight all of the bosses from the game over
Yeah.
and over and over again. And it's like I get to Wendigo on that part every fucking time. And it's like, I already beat him once. How fucking dare you? I'm like $30 deep. Like, come on.
Yeah, and
And you're 12.
and as you get
Yeah.
older,
Literally, like red-faced and like in tears, like clutching the stick here. And I've only been there for like 30 minutes. Like I'm gonna be at the mall like the rest of the day, and I've already used all of my money. Like, god damn it.
Yeah, and that kind
Mom
of
should have
like-
just waited in the parking lot.
Yeah,
Your mom
just
should
go
have just
through
waited in the
glove box
parking lot
car.
and she'd been ready.
Yeah.
So when I
you
got
guys-
older,
taller.
I realized like, yeah, these games are designed that way, and so I strayed away from arcade games.
It's like kids gambling. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Big
Pretty
time.
much.
Well, it's
Yeah.
betting on the sure thing. I mean, you always get what you pay for. So
Well, that's the thing nowadays is people are talking about loot boxes being a thing, and that's a form of gambling. Like some states were looking to see if they can legalize it, or if they need to legalize it.
right.
Yeah, because with PUBG, do you get loot boxes? Like you get custom skins or anything like that? I'm not
Not
sure.
that you pay with real currency. When you play a game, depending on how well you do, you get a certain amount of points, and then these points accumulate, which you can then use to get cosmetic items only. There's not a pay to get unlocked stuff just yet. At least not on the Xbox. I don't know if that's true for PC as of yet. But yeah, you do not get anything aesthetic or anything just by paying money in PUBG.
Well, that
Fortnite,
was a
on the other hand, my sister-in-law, her stepson just dropped $260 on Fortnite the other night because they had their payment stuff in there, and he just started hammering on
Wow.
like, oh, this costume, that costume, oh, the Founders Pack, bam. And
I'm
PlayStation
in the
is
wrong
like,
business.
yeah,
Yeah.
PlayStation's like, sorry guys, I mean, you take your payment information off, so yeah, they're out full 260 bones, like, whew. And that's a free game too. That's a free game, and they've spent more than
That's why
like
it's
a
free.
console. Yeah. The
Well,
first
that
one's
was a
always free,
drama
kid.
with was it Battlegrounds? This the Star Wars Battlegrounds game.
Oh, Battlefront. Yeah, Star Wars
Battlefront.
Battlefront.
There you go. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Was it that it was coming out during Christmas, and then a bunch of these like family websites were saying do not buy this game because it encourages gambling, and
Right.
EA and Disney were freaking out because that's the last thing they want, coming into the
Yeah.
holidays. So
Yeah.
It probably helped boost sales.
Yeah.
yeah, people talking
If
about
Well,
it.
I
anything, it
mean,
just made it better for
another
'em.
big problem with it was that you could pay if and it was never guaranteed. You could buy a loot box, but every loot box had a chance to unlock characters like Darth Vader and Han Solo, like characters that you would have to spend 40, 50 hours to earn. And then kids had them like the first weekend, like it's launch weekend, and there's already people stomping around as Darth Vader because they spent $150 on loot crates. And
And
it's like,
that's one of the things that like I actually really dislike about games. One of my pet peeves in gaming is this tendency nowadays to leave parts out of it to bring it in later through DLC or to like
I hate
limit
that.
certain mechanics, so pay to win mechanics. You see that a lot of
I don't
mobile
pre-order
games.
for that reason.
Yeah, mobile. Yeah,
I don't pre-order for that reason because it encourages them to release crap knowing that they can just fix it later.
right.
Yeah.
And see, there used to be a time when like an expansion for a game, like, was a big deal. It was almost basically like a sequel. Like, one of the biggest ones I remember, I
Assassin's
mean,
Creed
and it's
2.
not, oh yeah, well, it's not even that long ago, but, the Shivering Isles expansion for Oblivion, the Elder Scrolls game,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was like a whole new fucking game. It was amazing. And it was only $20. It was like, yeah, I would fucking pay for that in a heartbeat. Like
Witcher
good
3 did the
quality
same
DLC, good expansions, that's one thing. But yeah, leaving stuff like locked, like Destiny, really guilty of that. Leaving stuff just locked. I mean, it's in the game, it's there, but you don't get it until they say you can or until you pay. And then it's like, that's like a hostage scenario here. What am I, Patty Hearst? Come on.
They found that during I think it was in one of the Marvel versus Capcom games. Like they looked in the code, I think on the PC, and they found that the characters were in the game, but they were just like
Yeah.
unavailable until you actually I don't even think that the purchase was available yet, but they were obviously planning a DLC down the road.
Yeah, you would get it if you owned the season pass, which was
Yeah.
like another $60. Like,
Yeah.
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 So do you guys
They tried doing that with
prefer?
sports game.
I'm sorry, but you guys prefer consoles or like PCs?
I like both. I travel a lot. See, that's a big thing for me. So, I bring my laptop everywhere I go, obviously. So, having Steam on there with my whole video game library, just to install, any indie game or yeah, I'm not playing any like high-end games on the mobile on when I'm on my laptop. But when I come home, I got my gaming PC and I can play like these high-end graphic games. So I got that flexibility. So that's what I like about PC. But I also have a PS4, which so I like to have a nice stereo system in my living room. So being in that environment is a totally different thing too. Rather than
Yeah.
being in the bedroom and your PC. Those are two different kinds of
Yeah.
setups I have. So I like both, having that flexibility. I also like mobile gaming because I do a lot of traveling. I'm on planes a lot. I take maybe like a couple dozen Ubers every week, so I'm always on a mobile. I'm playing this game called Arena of Valor on mobile right now, which is this mobile Dota kind of game, which some people may not know. So I'm like all over the place then.
Sweet.
Will?
Yeah, I'll play it all too. I've got a pretty decent gaming laptop. I got an Xbox, a PlayStation. I've got all my old consoles from like back in the day. Still, I've got like my Super Nintendo. I've got an N64 kicking around. But I'll even play like D&D and like roll some tabletop dice. I'll play anything. I just fucking love playing games. So yeah, whatever you got, I'll play it, man. Like
That brings me to another point, and Raul touched on the same point I was about to make. As far as environment, do you find that would you consider it a form of total environment if you can get fully absorbed into the game? Now, we're not obviously surrounding ourselves in it, but we're immersing ourselves. Would you
Like
consider
VR?
that to be a different form, or even with VR? I mean, it can definitely go with VR. But would you consider that to be like almost an interchangeable total environment? Like if you have the ability to just to grab the sticks and feel like you're there.
personally, I say, I mean, absolutely. As long as you're not lying to yourself about, what else you need to do, as long as you're not sacrificing like real world stuff or,
Look.
bullshitting yourself about physical gratification or things like that. I absolutely think we're coming to a time period where the virtual, the total virtual environment will be a completely viable option. Yeah, 100%. Or the virtual human companion, for that matter, like the new Blade Runner movie, Blade Runner 2049, how the dude's married to a hologram. I absolutely think, or Krieger from Archer, like good example too. I think we're definitely getting to a level of technology and immersion where, I think it's going to be totally a viable option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I see that with the MMO games. People are living vicariously through some of them. You had Second Life, that was a big deal, but about 10 years ago or so. I'm not sure if it's still around.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some. There's this one game called Secret World, which I was really into, The Secret World, and it was an occult conspiracy online video game, and you can do the quests and all that stuff. But there were also like cities that you can go to, cafes, and you can meet up with other people that were playing the game, and then the aesthetics is all occult, goth, raver, cyberpunk, like, so that's like my total environment. Like, to me, like, that's what I want, like that Blade Runner world. That's what I want. Like,
that
noir.
Futuristic noir, like,
futuristic noir.
Totally.
Yeah.
Did you ever play LA Noir? The old one, I think it was Xbox 360 and
LA
PS3.
Noir, big
That was
time.
a great game.
I mean, top to bottom, like technologically, and even the soundtrack on that, like, talk about some just amazing modern jazz music, like, yes, so good, so good.
Well, it's awesome when a great soundtrack comes together for a game too, because I mean, just like with movies, it can be a character. The setting can be a character. You look at,
absolutely, yeah. Well, in LA Noir, it was really great too, because the soundtrack was like your clue that you were onto something. Like, it'd start playing the detective music, like when you start getting closer to a clue, and it'd do like little like drum snares when so you had to like listen for these audio cues from the music, and it was almost like scoring your gameplay. Like, if everything was silent and you're just walking around and you hear the sounds of the city, nothing's advancing and nothing's progressing. But like, as soon as you start talking to somebody or investigating an area, and that like almost like Pink Panther-esque, saxophone line comes in, then it's like you're falling into that Bogart role. It was super cool. Just, I mean, and literally cool in like the old school sense of the word. Just fucking Frank Sinatra, fucking cool,
Yeah, babe.
well, look at the technology too. Johnny. Look at the technology too, because I mean, when Call of Duty started putting an emphasis on the sound, so when you play games like Call of Duty and PUBG and all that, they now have that ability to make that, the footstep that breaks the twig, and you can tell if it's to the left or to the right. So they really use the sound to completely help immerse you into the scenario, but it works. Like, that's the one thing that even on a first-person shooter, you're listening as much as you're looking.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, especially there again, like with PUBG. That's if you can, any advantage you can get over your opponents, and being able to hear them before they hear or see you is a huge one. 100%. Yeah. And we've got like 5.1 surround sound, so now, like you said, you can hear where it's coming from, not just that it's near you, but you can hear the direction and everything. So.
7.1. Yeah.
Oh, 7.1. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So guys, what like you can mention the game or just something about a game or something that you love, like I'm talking about like an aspect of gaming, that you love, and something that you really hate or abhor about gaming. Can you guys think of anything? Anything come to mind?
I think on two, it's kind of the same thing. On the one hand, like, I've always loved co-op games. Like, I've always played, my dad was a gamer, and so he got me into it. So we've always, whether playing on like Super Nintendo or playing Left 4 Dead these days, like, I love that camaraderie. Like, when you pull off a well-executed maneuver as a squad, or you get that big win you've been working for, overcome a boss, or even just get some help on a place you've been struggling. I love that element of camaraderie to it. On that same stroke, I am really coming to the point where I fucking hate gamer culture, like, these days. Like, modern gamer culture is its own absolute worst enemy. Like, it is just, like, I love gaming with other players, but I hate being around other gamers. I don't know. It's a weird thing for me. It's this weird juxtaposition, like, very much Alien Elite these days, like, as far as that goes.
Yeah, I think to me, some of my best memories were playing Quake 2 with a clan, a tight knit clan that we played regularly all the time, and we play against other clans. I mean, that was a big thing back then. And I mean, you still do that now. With PUBG and other games like that, like Fortnite, Overwatch, and stuff. You can have really coordinated teams and build a good tight group, right? And have that kind of coordination and camaraderie with them. And you can isolate yourself from the pickup game environment, right? With the normies out there. So I like that. You get the competitive nature in multiplayer games. In the single player games, I like the character building, the world building, and the open world RPGs. In some of the MMO games like EVE Online, being able to create your own character, create your own story, and be immersed in that is something that I think is unique to video games. What I don't like is, there's some of that toxic culture in video games, but also I think we touched on it earlier. We did the whole DLC monetizing of certain aspects of it. And
in-app purchases on mobile, all that shit. Yeah,
some of that stuff can be annoying, I think, especially when some games are like designed, like they have like actual psychologists and they have people on board on their teams who are specifically inserting elements into games that are triggering to like a addictive personality, right?
They're the Skinner box. The Skinner box mentality. 100%. Yeah. So Blizzard is good about that.
Yep. Yeah. So I enjoy Overwatch, but I know it's like, there's something to this that's like the sounds, like the coins clicking or the sounds of certain like things going on in the environment. They're triggering that kind of addictive kind of subconscious. So I have to pull away from that sometimes. Be like, okay, I know what's going on here. So you have some fun, but I think
that's a bit much.
You should be aware of that.
Yeah. Wow.
I kind of want to see what that's about now, but I also don't want to dive into it. But I was going to say that one of the things I always enjoyed was playing with my neighbor. Like when my neighbor, it didn't even have to be video games.
Oh, you mean
No, like it didn't even have to always be video games. Like it could be just Monopoly, but sitting, or getting on a computer and playing Doom 2 and taking turns, with every die. And if I died, then it was his turn, and we just rotate chairs, and then that grew up into when the first Xbox came out, and then we actually went and got a router and a bunch of phone cords and put a TV in the living room, a TV in one bedroom, a TV there, hooked it all up to the router in the middle of the house, and then we grabbed a 12-pack and just started slamming, beers while playing Halo because Xbox Live didn't exist yet. So we were networked on the 4 TVs, and we'd have 8 versus 8 with 16 people.
Halo, the original Halo, that was like the last death knell. That was like the high watermark of the LAN party, because then you had Xbox Live, and then you didn't have to go to people's houses for it. But I remember those days of packing up this massive console, grabbing my controllers, 50-foot Ethernet cord.
Remember the controllers? They were like 20 pounds back then.
Oh yeah, it was like a bean bag. It was like a couch in itself.
You could chomp your tires if you were unloading your boat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But and then from there, then you had Xbox Live, and
we knew that whoever was in the living room had to be on the same team as the guy in the kitchen because they could see each other's TV from there, and it wouldn't be fair. Right. So the 2 bedrooms had to be opposite teams. And then there was basically just at least a dozen people screaming all sorts of obscenities at each other for some rocket that damn well you just shot randomly, and then it just got right shotgun.
Yeah, I mean that takes me back to like the LAN party culture of like the late '90s. I mean that was pretty wild. Like you get they still go on now, but with high speed internet being so much of so easily available, I don't think it's as popular as it was then. But you would go to these conventions like QuakeCon and such, and then they'd have these huge like arenas full of people bringing in their PCs, hooking them up to high-speed LANs and playing various games. Also,
Unreal Tournament, that was a big one for it.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was going to actually ask, wasn't Quake's big thing as they started using the Unreal Engine from Unreal Tournament, and that kind of revolutionized the first-person shooter? I remember
the Quake had their own engine. Quake
Yeah,
had
Quake's always had their own engine. Yeah,
Yeah.
Quake
'Cause I
and
remember
Unreal.
hearing about the Unreal Tournament engine, and then I bought Unreal Tournament, and I'm like,
Mhm.
Yeah, well,
blown away.
Unreal was like a single player game. It was totally based
Yeah.
on, it was a showcase for their engine, and then that was developed by Epic Games, right? That was that developer who was a competitor to id Games, who were the makers
That's
of
Doom.
and
Yeah.
Quake.
Yeah.
So those are like competing engines, competing multiplayer environments. So yeah, I always liked the Quake environment because it was like darker. You had the kind of gothic cyber
Oh yeah,
aesthetic to it.
pentagrams everywhere. Trent Reznor
Yeah.
did the music for the first one. I mean, what was not to love about that shit right there? Right.
Yeah,
Nice.
loving it. So I mean, aside from the pentagram thing, that being satanic and stuff, but what do you guys feel that makes gaming satanic for us? Like, what are some of the aspects of gaming that makes it satanic?
You get to see. I mean, you get to see a lot of different satanic elements, and that's kind of one of the things I go through with doing the Idle Hands show. Is like I want to show like a showcase. It's not all just shooters, and it's not all just RPGs. You can get satanic elements from almost any game if you look hard enough. But I think for me personally, I like, even if it's just the illusion, I like meaningful choice in a game, because that's what's different than books or movies or things like that, is when a dialogue option comes up and I get to help dictate the path of where this is going to go. I actually get a say. And in most games,
answer.
it's kind of it doesn't matter what you say. The end result's kind of always the same in a lot of games. But just that illusion of like the BioWare games are a great example of that, like Knights of the Old Republic and Mass Effect and things like that. How it will physically change the experience just based on the decision that you make based on what you want to do in a game. And when
Raul
it kind
was
of takes
talking
it
about
off
where
the
the
rails
settings
a little
like
bit
in
like
Bloodborne, open world. That's
Yeah.
I'm not trying to jump in front of him here, but I mean to piggyback off that with what Raul said earlier, yeah, you get that open world aspect when you have a choice of dialogue, and then the time of day
go
matters.
anywhere, do
Man,
anything.
that is just
Mhm.
that just falls right into what I like
Grand
to
Theft
see.
Auto, great series for that. I mean, you meter out like the justice and the responsibility to the responsible. If you don't like a character, if you get the option to not help them or just straight up eliminate them from the equation, absolutely. Like, the chance to play judge, jury, and executioner in a controlled environment that's not going to get me arrested is, it's a powerful feeling. And I think people like that.
Raul, what about you?
I mean, yeah, I totally agree with that. The open world aspect, the character building, kind of forging your own path, being a very satanic thing. We talked about Far Cry 5 earlier, which reminds me of what I think is one of the most satanic games out there, is Far Cry 2. And that's going to be a weird choice for some people because, like, what the hell does Far Cry 2 have to do with anything? But the story of Far Cry 2 is, has anyone played it by any chance?
I
Yeah,
started it.
big time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Switch
Oh, yeah,
consoles.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's to give the audience a little bit of background. You're a mercenary in Africa, and there's like a civil war going on between these two factions, like these two rebel armies, and you can take jobs from either one of them, or you can kind of do your own thing. This was like the first of the Far Cry games that had like kind of this open world element to it, and they had this super villain, this evil guy running things called
Yeah,
the Jackal.
the Jackal. Yeah,
The
that guy
Jackal.
was badass.
And the Jackal, I think, is one of the most satanic characters in video gaming, and I think it's overlooked because a lot of people think, BioShock and stuff like that, the kind of Ayn Rand kind of inspired philosophy, objectivism. But in the Jackal, you get the kind of Machiavellian archetype.
Nice.
So this Jackal guy, he was funding both of those military factions. So he would have them war against each other, and he was kind of orchestrating the whole civil war in the background and profiting from it, right?
Let's you and him fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And like,
exactly.
but and I don't know if I'm spoil. Well, I am going to spoil things.
Nah,
so
spoil it.
Far
It's
Cry
great.
2,
It's
go
great.
ahead.
Yeah, do it.
So it turns out, what he was actually doing the whole time was that he knew these two political factions were poison and that they deserved to kill each other. So he was fueling this political battle to eliminate these people, and the whole time he was collecting money to help people escape, actual civilians. And at the end, he lets you in on the plot. He's like, we actually have these people. We have all these diamonds. We're getting these people out of here. But a situation like he was letting you know that like he wasn't being altruistic. He wasn't a good guy, but he knew like who the bad people were, and he exploited them to help himself, obviously, but he also kind of had a little bit of a heart to him. He wanted to help these refugees get out of the situation. So you in the last mission is helping him execute that, and there's a kind of twist to that at the end too. But yeah, I think to me that's an absolutely satanic character. The guy who takes a situation, exploits it, plays both sides of it. But at the same time, he's not necessarily a psychopath. He's got a rhyme and reason to what he's doing, but it's totally unorthodox, and it's very it's the morality of it is questionable. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and right in the opening, when you first meet him in the opening of the game, he quotes Nietzsche from Beyond Good and Evil at you, like the might of will, and and what's cool about it too is like one part he funds these two rival factions at like high quality weapons at like a ridiculously low price, and people are like, how is he doing this? How is this sustainable? We don't understand. Is he just crazy? Turns out he has fucking cancer, so he knows he's gonna die the whole time. So he's just basically giving away these fucking high quality weapons in order to just sow chaos to bring both sides of this house of cards down. And it's very measured, and it is like you say, it's like a greater good scenario, but it very much does not care about the bits and the pieces along the way. Like it's
kind of like the Watchmen character. Ozymandias, who
Ozymandias,
creates like, I don't want to spoil that movie, but there's a character to that, it's like you're causing some suffering to save further future suffering right now, but it's still, there's throughout the game there's a reporter that is interviewing him, and you pick up the tapes and you hear like his philosophy and like he's very animalistic, very feral kind of character. It kind of harkens back to Apocalypse Now. So I think that's an overlooked game in terms of a satanic character. So I just wanted to take a minute to talk about that.
100% agree. And I mean, just the minutia in that game as well, like everything from like the weather patterns to how enemies react when you shoot them and things like that was just the devil is absolutely in the details on that one. And it's actually it's backwards compatible on the Xbox One. So if you have an Xbox One, you can get a copy of Far Cry 2 real cheap, and it is totally worth the price of admission. Like it's absolutely worthy. So
yeah, because I'm seeing some talk of like, okay, so Far Cry 5 is a thing right now. It's a great game. It looks like I haven't played it yet. But I'm seeing some people talking about, oh, okay, this Christian militia. Okay, you're killing this Christian militia. So there's like kind of this obvious like anti-Christian kind of feeling to it that some people are trying to insert into it. So I would say go back to Far Cry 2, and that is a more satanic kind of environment. This kind of survival of the fittest Machiavellian environment. Like that to me is more accurate to the philosophy.
Yeah, that was the one disappointment with Far Cry 2 from the original Far Cry, where they got because in the original Far Cry, it's like pretty standard story. You're on a desert island, you immerse yourself in the jungle, and you become this human animal. You get like enhanced senses, and you're able to like rip guys apart with your own hand. You go from being hunted by these like Haitian pirates to becoming this feared hunter, this animalistic human. And that's one thing that the Far Cry series has always kind of embodied, is that you are the top of the food chain. Even when you're not, even when you're getting attacked by bears and stuff like that, you have to fight to get to that top of it. And I think that's one unfortunate thing. They've kind of moved the emphasis away from that overall narrative. But like I say, that was the original goal of the Far Cry games, is that you are the human animal. You start at the bottom of the food chain, and you overcome sharks and bears and tigers, and then fellow man armed with guns. Yeah, exactly. Oh my. To become like the pinnacle of human evolution in that sense. And so it's always been a super satanic overtone in that regard too.
Yeah.
So we were talking on Facebook at a post a while ago, and it was talking about Game Enforcer did the top 300 games of all time, and Raul brought up a point on this post that I want to bring up here. He said you really can't do all time because there's so much to take into consideration. You should go decade by decade. or something like that. So what would you guys say
Right.
is like,
Oh, I thought you were
or
gonna.
console by console even, and as far as progression, what would you say are the best games of, the decades or the consoles, like moving up from 80s, 70s to now?
Well, wait. Before
John's ready. John, go.
No. Before we answer that, I thought you were gonna keep going on about the satanic thing. I wanted to just mention that, another aspect of gaming is almost like it can be like a ritual for some. It's almost like a
Definitely.
ritual chamber you go into. You're in that killing mood.
Hmm.
You can. It's a
That's true.
psychodrama. It's cathartic. You could go in there and visualize an enemy or a desired result to this thing and kind of take it out in the game, and just take delight in seeing that enemy taken down and things like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost like a satanic ritual in itself.
No, it really is like a purge of all that pent up emotions. Like, how many people
Yeah.
do we know that are like, I can't wait till I get home. I'm gonna freaking shoot the fuck out of some people on that. Like one
Yeah.
actually cool story actually. Grand Theft Auto 5. I was
Just don't
born
call
and
the
raised in
FBI.
Southern California. Yeah, so Grand Theft Auto 5 did a really, really great job of capturing like the essence of that Los Angeles society, culture, visually, aesthetically, everything like that. And I had just I was down in California visiting family. We spent like 6 hours in rush hour traffic in Los Angeles. And so as soon as I got home, the first thing I did was I threw in Grand Theft Auto 5 and I just plowed a semi truck through the rush hour traffic that I had just experienced in Los Angeles. And it was just like, yeah, this is what I wanted to do the whole fucking time. And I get to experience that in an environment that is safe and, I don't
Yeah.
actually have to steal a semi truck and wholesale slaughter people, but I get to wholesale slaughter people. I mean,
That's cool. That's very satanic. I mean, as Satanists, we know. I mean, we love our laws, we love our country, we love our city, we love our state. We know that going out there in the real world and harming other people is just not conducive with Satanism at all. It's just not how it works. So we take delight in these forms of where we can do these sort of things in our minds because that's where it's healthy and that's where you can get it out and get it away from you. And so,
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
love that. Love
I
that.
totally agree.
Jared, back to you. What was your?
Oh, well, you're talking about like the top games of certain. I
Of
mean, I don't know
decades.
if we could go decade to decade. I mean, that's a lot.
That's
I
a
don't
tough
even
You know
deal.
what?
I'm not going to split the hair like that much, but I'm just saying,
Our buddy Dorian is doing a show called Decades.
yeah.
Decade of
Oh,
Decadence.
yeah.
With the music thing, Raul, you should, one of you guys or both of you guys should do a show for Radio Free Satan called, I don't know, Decades of Disport or something, and talk
Well,
about
that's
that would
funny
actually be really cool.
games,
Yeah.
per decade.
You heard
That
it
would
here
be
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to do
We
like
usually
a,
do hear it here first, but yeah.
yeah, I was trying to think of doing like a video game dedicated podcast for Radio Free Satan, but it just never. I mean, I got so many other things going on. And it's
Yeah,
like,
I know.
yeah, but that'd be. I think that's a great a thing that that somebody should be doing probably.
Well, Will does the, you do the game thing already.
Well, you do the
Yeah,
video,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, the video, as you guys know, is really intensive. I have to record a lot of stuff, do the voiceover, sync it all up. I would love a more casual format where it's just like an hour of just bullshitting about video games. Like, I would be totally down for that.
I thought yours was still pretty good because it was short and you covered the points without spoiling it.
Thanks, thank you. Yeah.
If I'm going to leave you a YouTube comment here on the show, no, that was what I liked about it was and it wasn't like it wasn't a strict format. I think one was like 12 minutes long, one was like 16 minutes long.
Yeah,
You
I kind of
had
play
a
it
story
fast
to
and
tell,
loose. Yeah.
and you didn't spoil the ending. Like that will make you want to go check it out because Satanism in gaming is gonna immediately perk my ears as soon as you start talking about like I'm already considering going back and getting Far Cry 2 just to try this thing out because I played Far Cry 4 and I liked it and I remember I did a little bit of Far Cry 3.
Oh, dude,
but now I'm like,
Far Cry,
oh,
Far Cry 4
it's
is
like
great
that.
too. Yeah.
I'll go spend $4 on a 7-year-old game and throw it in the Xbox One, you know?
Yeah, we can talk about that like offline because that's we're gonna turn it into the Far Cry episode. But like, yeah,
Definitely, yeah.
I'd highly recommend that. But how about let's say best game of the current generation, like of the PS4, Xbox One, like best game so far. Like, what do we think?
Okay.
Overall
John.
quality, I'd have to say pound for pound, I'd have to say fucking Witcher 3, best game of this generation. Like,
Was that this generation
it
or was that
masterpiece.
last? Okay.
No, Witcher 3 is
It's close
this
enough.
generation. Yeah,
it's
Witcher
within
3 is
10 years, I
current.
would
Yeah,
say.
Oh, Witcher
When
3,
did
that's
Witcher
like
3?
3 years ago. Like
Oh yeah,
that
Skyrim was
like
10
just
years
came
ago. I'm
out.
sorry.
Skyrim's 10 years ago, definitely.
They're
But
milking
yeah,
that thing
currently,
too, but that's another topic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
PUBG, man.
if
PUBG.
PUBG.
PUBG,
I mean, it's the greatest thing
Dude,
since.
PUBG has spawned an entire new, like, the battle royale genre is now a thing, simply because whether PUBG remains the top of the heap or not,
Yeah.
I mean, it has started a whole new. Every game is doing it now, and so yeah, just as far as what they've done to the landscape, yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
mine has got to be, and anyone that knows me saw this answer coming a mile away. Dark Souls 3.
Hmm.
Dark Souls 3,
really?
the game is ridiculous.
Really?
Oh my god. Oh.
Surprise.
Especially if you're a Berserk fan. Raul talked about that earlier. Like if you're into Berserk,
Mhm.
because that was a huge inspiration on him. If you're into Berserk, then Dark Souls 3 is
You know,
is
and
up there.
I'll actually have to say, Dark Souls 3, it's the Souls game I've gotten the farthest in. I'm still terrible at those games, but it's the first time I've actually purchased a fucking strategy guide in probably 25 years or so. I haven't gotten a strategy guide for a game since I used to read Nintendo Power back in the day. Like, I actually
There's a
got the Dark Souls 3, the hardcover special edition thing, because I'm like, I fucking need some help here. Like, fuck this game.
shoot me a
Like,
message, man. No, there's a picture I had. It was hilarious. It showed a Dark Souls rating, and it was one of those thumbs up, thumbs down. And the person commented, "I'm an atheist, and this game generally had me looking to the Bible for help." And I'm like, yep, that's about right. Apart from that, I'd have to throw Witcher 3 out there because, I mean, just because, I want to. It's almost cliche for me to talk about Dark Souls. I try not to mention it in the satanic groups as much as I want to because it's just. The game has just stolen my attention. But Witcher 3 is definitely going to be one out there. And then going back generations before that, I think the last big one that really stole me was GoldenEye. Like you mentioned Nintendo 64. That game, man, that game. I would rank that in the top of all time.
oh,
Like it's got
now
to be
now
top
that's
20.
getting back in that's going back a few generations, but yeah, that's oh man.
Yeah,
So
from
many
that gener. How
hours.
about that generation? That kind of like post like 64, like that
Star
64
Fox
bit.
Like the
Yeah.
PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64 kind of
Yeah.
era, like
I'm gonna say
when 3D gaming was when a game just had to say 3D graphics and it was huge, like it would sell no matter
Yeah.
what. Like,
Yeah.
It was new.
yeah, big time. Like polygon graphics were the thing. Like yeah, definitely.
Raul,
my
how
favorite
about
game
you?
from that era was Resident Evil, the first one.
Resident
Oh, yeah.
Evil.
Resident Evil, Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time.
Oh,
I
yeah,
would have
it's-
to. I would probably have to say Final Fantasy VII, just in that is what brought. Because Final Fantasy was always on
I
like
never got into
Nintendo
the
or
Final
Super
Fantasies.
Nintendo. Like, well, and see, that was the thing. Is like on Nintendo, it's like all 8-bit, and it's just like White Mage, Red Mage, whatever. But then Final Fantasy VII came out, and six kind of did the same thing, but 7 really just catapulted it into a blockbuster genre. Like it put Square Soft on the map when that
Well,
one came
A for
out.
effort. Way to not quit after the first 6.
Exactly, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, way to hang in there.
Yeah.
John, what
What
about
about you,
you?
John?
What? What? No.
Games of this generation and previous generations.
Well, PUBG of this one. PUBG all the way on this
Oh yeah,
one.
you already said that.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. But that generation, shoot, man, I had a Sony PlayStation, the first one. And I'm trying to remember the games I used to play on that thing.
Like
Two-
Twisted
two-
Metal.
I laugh.
Twisted
big
Metal was a good one.
Twisted
Twisted
Metal,
Metal
fuck
2.
yeah.
Twisted
Fuck
Metal
Twisted
2.
Metal 2, that's
the
right.
World
Twisted
Tour.
Metal.
with the
World
ice cream
Tour.
bar. Yeah.
I loved it. Why don't they have that now? Like,
Dude, it's so
They-
funny.
they
I
did
actually
Oh, go ahead.
I'm getting all excited on this because
yeah.
it is a damn shame that the vehicular combat game is not like a thing right now.
Yeah.
And you
It'll
could
come
actually on PlayStation, you could sign up for like PlayStation something where you could subscribe to like the old games. And I
Yeah.
did that so I can play. I think it was like Twisted Metal 3 or something like that. Like,
Yeah, or Twisted
I
Metal
played-
Black too. Yeah.
Yeah, Black. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I laugh because some of the guys I work with are in their early 20s, and they're like, I play FIFA a lot, and one of my friends does too, and I'm like, I
What's
laugh
that,
because
Jared?
we're talking about that's soccer, football for the rest of the world.
Football. Yeah.
But the thing is, I remember playing a game called FIFA. No years, none of this Madden. I remember playing Madden. It wasn't
Or just
Madden
or
98
game.
or
Remember the
Madden
Game Day
2014.
series? There was
Yeah.
Game Day and the
Yeah.
Madden series. Yeah.
It was the only one. It was the
Mm-hmm.
only one. And then if you want to go even older than that, you've got Tecmo Football for the old
Tecmo
Nintendo.
Super
They didn't
Bowl,
even have
yeah.
names.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember getting excited when they finally started putting people's names on the jerseys, and you could actually read the name on the screen. I'm like, that's awesome. It'll never get better than this.
Yeah, I think it was one of the Tecmo games. I don't remember, but they put fucking Bo Jackson in the game, and he was
ruined
ungodly
it.
fast. It couldn't be tackled, and it's like everybody had the house rule. Nobody plays as Bo Jackson. Like nobody gets to play as Bo Jackson.
It's like not being Oddjob in GoldenEye because he was too short.
Exactly.
You couldn't hit him.
Yeah, that short little prick.
I can't get into sport games. I can't even watch real sports. It's just boggles my mind now when people actually watch that stuff. But
as far as sports
I
games
used to
go,
play
I think,
it, so when I wasn't playing, I'd watch it.
Well, I mean, but I'll play like UFC. You know, like I play that. But
or the
fighting
Fight
game,
Night.
You know?
The Fight Night games.
Fight Night, yeah.
Those are fucking top notch. And Fight Night Champion, it got. And this is one of my fucking peeves of that year, is that in the best sports game category, Fight Night Champion didn't even get a nod from it. It wasn't nominated for anything, and it was not only the first sports game to have like a full-on campaign, like you follow this dude that ends up going to prison, learns how to box, comes out of prison, and fucking takes the championship and everything like that. But it had like the online gym matches that you could do. The multiplayer was thriving. Didn't get a fucking nod from anybody that year. And it's like, oh, sports games. Oh, Madden's doing well, blah, blah, blah. It's like, what about fucking Fight Night, guys? And then as a result, it didn't sell that well. And then they fucking pulled the plug on the whole goddamn franchise. And now they only do UFC games. And I'm fucking
Who do we
salty
need to direct
about
this
it.
tape to, Will? Who do you want us to nominate this towards?
I want you to send it straight to the top. I don't know who that is, but I want you to just send it up to the top. Get Gabe Newell on the line, Bill Gates, fucking exhume the body of Steve Jobs. I don't care. Whatever we got to do here.
Vince
What do you think
McMahon.
about?
Done.
What do you think
We're
about?
Satanists. We can do all those things.
Yeah.
What do you think about video games as a sport? Like PUBG is like a thing.
Hey,
Overwatch.
if you win something and take home $1 million for playing a video game, you can laugh and call it whatever you want, but that check clears.
I don't look at it as sports. I look at it more of like a contest, you know, like you get a tournament of, you know, of players that have a skill, you know,
Yeah,
type of
esports.
thing. And,
Yeah, I mean they call it.
it's like an esport thing. But
Esports is fair.
Yeah.
that's
think
kind
it
of
would
cool.
be-
That's kind of sport I can watch. I can't watch
Yeah.
grown men in sweaty outfits playing with balls. It doesn't
Not
make
after
sense
doing it all
to
day in
me.
his
That
backyard.
doesn't do it for you?
I can see why women like it, or gay men, but not straight dudes, man. Oh my god, weird.
Fun, man. Sports
That's
is
a whole nother show, man.
Do you guys have any streamers you watch?
Epic Name Bro. I like to watch
Okay.
that.
Oh
There's
yeah,
more-
Dark Souls. Yeah.
Yeah, but I finally let him start branching out and watch some of his other stuff and Vati Vidya, but it's all based on the lore. I mean, Will was talking about the 25, or it's been 25 years since reading a manual. Well, now they have YouTube videos where people sit there and give their theories, and a lot of that can be fun. You can find
A lot of
that,
it can
and
be fun, and then a lot of it can be fucking terrible. It's like, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, I need to find out where that is. Hey, what's up, guys? It's blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, never mind. I'll
Done
find
this
it
before?
on my own. That's,
Yeah.
That's good. I'm
Stone
good.
Mountain 64.
Stone
All right.
Mountain's good.
When
I like
he
Total
does the PUBG
Biscuits,
thing.
the British guy. That guy's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Dr. Disrespect.
Okay.
I just loved his character. Like I love his like retro wave aesthetic. Have you guys ever
Yeah.
heard of him?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
who was he?
Well, he's a Twitch streamer, right? And he'd wear like these big glasses. He had like this big bushy mustache, and he kind of had like this kind of like Eastern European machismo kind of vibe to him.
Like the old style strongman, like pugilist kind of thing or
Yeah.
something like that. Like
Like
yeah.
Iron
Yeah.
Sheik.
Yeah, kind of like, well, yeah, I guess a little bit like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
also had kind of like the retro 80s look to him. He had like old retro 80s style jackets, like that kind of like retro kind of vibe to him. And of course, like his big thing is as he's streaming, he's he's like a really sassy guy, kind of bad mouthing people. His name is Dr. Disrespect. So
So like
know.
Burt Reynolds.
yeah, kind of like that kind of character. And so there's a bit of drama around him too, because he's you say what you want about certain kind of relationship dynamics, but he attracted the ladies apparently, because he would go to these conventions and he ended up having an affair with somebody where he was married, and his wife was actually a character on his show. Like she was
Like Burt Reynolds.
like Burt Reynolds. Yeah, it's basically Burt
I
Reynolds
had to
who plays
look it
video
up.
games.
I just had to look it up, but there was a funny one I used to watch for State of Decay. His name is Zombie Kitty. So if you ever wanted to watch some
Uh,
British guy crack some jokes as he plays live, that's a good one. Zombie Kitty.
yeah. But this guy, he
Does not sleep with his wife though, or sleep with
yeah, when
someone's
he
wife.
when people found out, like he actually no, really, he actually confessed. Like he confessed that he went in a live stream. It was just him, no video games, and he just like looked at the camera and just like confessed this like affair and like started crying and then shut it down. And like yeah, that was like
I
crazy
have
because
sinned.
he was like one of the most popular streamers. Like he was making a good living off. He was getting all these sponsorships, and then all of a sudden did that, and then it's like.
Yeah.
It's like
Was
it's
it
that
worth it?
counterproductive pride, right? It's gotta
Yeah.
be
Well,
much
and that
closer
goes
to
back to that whole, like I was talking about, like gaming culture is a fickle mistress. Like you can be like top of the heap one day and then just absolutely social justice warriored into a grave the next day. Like it is, yeah, it's unreal these days.
Well, he's coming back now. He released a teaser with him
Oh,
and his
nice.
wife. Yeah,
Oh, cool.
so
Okay.
it seems like they may have mended things, which is cool. So
Patched
this
it
is like
up.
this.
The money. The money
Honey,
helps.
I don't like working a real job. Come back and do my show again.
Yeah. So we mentioned electronic games and consoles and PCs and things like that. I mean, do you guys find anything satanic about board games and which ones, and maybe some role-playing games that aren't electronic, like Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh, you mean the
things
Devil's Game, Dungeons and
like that?
Dragons?
Yes,
Oh,
things like
yeah.
that. Like, is that satanic?
I mean, I gotta say, it's like I was playing D&D in high school. I was listening to heavy metal music, and then oh shit, like look at me. Maybe there is something to this whole, play D&D, listen to
That's
heavy
the
metal.
gateway to the
you'll get it.
devil.
Yeah, exactly. And so and yet here I am. But no, 100%, especially like D&D. Just like we were talking about, that element of choice, but taken to a whole nother level where you get to just live for a few hours as this archetype, because everybody goes into D&D and the first character they play is the vision of themselves that they would want to be, that they've always fantasized. Like if I was in Lord of the Rings, this is basically me, but with all these other attributes and things like that. And just that, like we said earlier, it very much becomes like this sort of ritual where you are casting off, your daily you and putting on this other archetype, and then making decisions from that perspective, and speaking, from that mindset. And it is, yeah, D&D is like the complete free gaming experience. Like if you can get into it and you can embrace it, it's a whole other level that video games just really don't even capture to this day. I mean,
Yeah, there was this other game, it came after, called Vampire the Masquerade. So
yeah,
that
the
was
World of
same kind
Darkness
idea.
ones.
Yeah, the World
Yeah.
of Darkness. So
Mhm.
that was also pen and paper. You created your character sheet. You select certain, you're a vampire. You can join different clans. And the big thing with Vampire the Masquerade was that that pen and paper element was a thing, but it was also that's where LARPing actually really took off from that community, because they would actually dress up like vampires and then meet up at like goth clubs and then start actually acting out scenarios from that game, actually according to the rules as much as you can.
Yeah.
And then have
The
sex.
opening scene of Blade.
And
Oh,
yeah, there was
definitely vampire sex. Like,
yeah, that was a thing.
Well,
I
and
mean,
they also had like werewolves and ghosts and all kinds of other, creatures of the night as well, and they all interwove into one overarching meta game that all kind of played well with each other. And that was the thing about the World of Darkness, is that they kind of stepped back. The character sheets were very simple, and the mechanics were very ephemeral, where they encouraged more interaction, less rolling dice, and more interacting and playing like the political aspect to it. And I think that's what caught on a lot of people as far as the LARP aspect goes, is that you don't need dice and character sheets. You can just play your character, just do it. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
it's funny because I'm probably the only Satanist among my friends who are actually into that. And so as much as people say like, oh, the Satanists are into LARPing, it's like, well, actually, no, the Satanists just observed the other people LARPing.
Right.
To me, it was funny, watching that play out, because I went to a lot of goth clubs and such in like the late 90s, early 2000s, and so on. That was a big thing. that's actually grown into other communities that came out of that kind of milieu. You have like the furry community, and then you've got like these other kind of kink communities that kind of grew out of that. But yeah,
People do that?
what's
Yeah,
that?
vampire fetish stuff.
People
Like
do that?
they do a vampire ball here in Portland every year, and it's
Yeah.
basically like that next echelon. There's no game to it whatsoever. It's just everybody is there as vampires, and then everything else that goes along with that. And mostly it's just a big excuse to have sex with fangs and in Victorian dress.
It has to be the
I mean,
most awkward line of waiting in, like just 100 people in line outside standing there, like just kind of and you're about to
Well,
switch
it is
into characters.
it is Portland, so actually it's really not. It's like, oh yeah, whatever. There's the vampire kids, and yeah, it's not actually that. It's not all that weird in the backdrop
Yeah.
here.
It could get kind of cringy. Yeah, so that was always me, like in the background, like observing, like okay, that's a thing.
Yeah. I prefer it on with pen and paper and miniatures if needed. I never really got into the whole LARP thing, except for I do play in the SCA, the Society for Creative Anachronisms, which is more like a medieval LARP, but it involves like actual like sword and armor combat and like
You
actual
play as a
fencing.
Scottish dwarf?
Scottish dwarf. No, I actually play. I'm a Russian nobleman from Moscow. Like
Russia.
That works.
Yeah.
I see
Yeah, exactly.
I can
Dostoevsky
see
in there
that.
somewhere.
Yeah. But no, it's it's less emphasis on the role play, more an emphasis on it's more reenactment, I guess you could say. But
Like
it's
the Ren
still a
Fair
big
kind of
fucking.
stuff.
It's exactly. It's still a big fucking LARP. Like I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna dress it all
Make
up. Like,
way
we're
for the
actually
privy.
Yeah, we're historical reenact. No, we're out there to have
Don,
fun.
you did that
but-
too good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I
main
love the
draw,
Ren
like
Fair.
I say, is the actual combat. Like you actually have to wear armor. You actually hit just full contact medieval, warfare and dueling and things like that. And that was my main attraction. It's like I get to wear actual armor. I get to actually swing and hit and be hit and do like Braveheart style battles with like 1,000 people on a war field all just charging into each other and like taking castles and firing catapults and shit like that. I was like, oh. Okay, yeah, that's pretty fucking fun. People get hurt, they go to the hospital, and it's like bloodshed is pretty common. Not
Good times,
encouraged,
man.
but
Good
it
times.
happens. Like it's awesome. Yeah, it's fun.
Nice. Guys,
It all started with D&D. That's where it started. So
absolutely. This has been fun, man. I'm glad you guys came on. Thanks for coming on here.
Yeah, so
yeah,
this is why we need a satanic video game podcast dedicated to that, because as you can see, we can talk for hours on end about any particular topic.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, love it. So,
But thanks
guys,
for doing this.
absolutely. What do you guys got going on, personal-wise, professional-wise, that you might want to plug?
Putting together a few interview podcasts that I've got going on with the Forest Passage. That's over at Heathen Harvest. You can search for that, just heathenharvest.org. Is it .org? Yeah, I don't remember. So I've got Heathen Harvest podcast. I've got another Chaos Sedated, which is a dark ambient industrial podcast I'm working on, and Black Signals, which is a synthwave minimal techno podcast that I'm working on. So those are 3 things that I'm juggling right now.
Nice. Will, anything?
Busy,
Well, wait,
busy,
before real
yeah.
quick, Raul, you still got you got the Den of Iniquity too.
Oh yeah, so the Den of Iniquity. So that is that was a project actually that came out of talking with Magus Gilmore, trying to do something more with the Church of Satan YouTube channel, putting actual content on there rather than just archival videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice. Yeah.
so we were really into the Blade Runner film 2049. So we decided to get together and talk about that and do like extended deep dive on that.
Yeah.
And that was a great time putting it together. It was a lot of work, and I dug out like a bunch of footage that was appropriate to that, to the topic we were talking about at the time. So I'm thinking of doing things like that for various kind of our franchises or other movies. I was thinking maybe doing something on Daredevil, the Netflix Daredevil film.
Oh, or the
series.
Punisher too.
Punisher,
Yeah.
Punisher,
That would be
Daredevil, because you could
rad.
get like satanic in that.
Big time.
We're also thinking of doing other topics, whether like current events or, well, not really current events, but like more like pop culture. We want to stick it, make it more culture, lifestyle kind of thing. So that's why it's the Den of Iniquity. It's kind of more laid back, not so much like topical, but just talk about things that are interesting to us, entertaining. I was thinking of doing a book reading or bringing on some publishers or writers and talking about their books and maybe looking at a satanic angle on them. I've got a large collection of books from Underworld Amusements, so
Yeah.
I'd like to cover some of those releases. Like, actually, right, I was working on New York is Hell, which was a book of about New York, and Peggy Nadramina wrote an intro to it, and it's about like the Prohibition era New York and how like there is this kind of noir, kind of satanic element to that time. Written by H.L. Mencken. Well, no, not H.L. Mencken. He's related, but Sears. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to talk about that, and so these are all things that got planned, but I should pull away from Mountain Blade right now to do it.
Yeah, the eternal struggle right there.
Yeah. Will, how about you?
Yeah, well, I'm always writing stuff. I actually am one of the newest cast members and content creators for the Satanic Players Society with Colin Martin and other esteemed folks. I just submitted a couple readings for him, a couple stories, and I'm just hitting that hard. I've always loved that old style radio show voice acting. Yeah. And I've always been told I have a great face for radio, so I'm really just embracing that.
It's true. It's true.
Especially
As
from
usual,
like
thank
here
you.
down, from like
like literally.
Perfect.
Well, that's what my gamer tag is actually. Will's beard is because like it's a joke in my gaming circle that my beard is actually way cooler than I am, so everybody really just wants to play games with my beard. It's anyway. But then I've also got my YouTube channel under my pseudonym Citizen Valifar. The
Aren't we
latest
friends on
episode of
Xbox?
Idle Hands. What's up?
We're friends.
Yeah,
on
we're
Xbox.
friends on Xbox.
Yeah,
we played PUBG a few times.
That's
Yeah,
right,
you always ask me
right.
like, who is this? Who is this? And it's like, oh, it's Will.
Because I've got like so many people. Because I give out my gamer tag.
I know. Every time we've played, it's always like the most random assortment of people. Like it's always crazy. So, but no, it's we're pals. But then I'm doing my the YouTube channel episode 4 of Idle Hands, the Satanic Gaming list. Is coming out, and that one just a sneak peek. It'll probably be out by the time this is out, but is actually Left 4 Dead 2. So I've been recording footage for that all week, and I'm going to be doing voiceovers and putting it all together this weekend. And then I've been on there. I'm a huge fan of the Everything is Terrible YouTube channel, where they take all this archive found footage from back in the day. They chop it all up. Like Satanic Panic footage is huge, old like those crazy weird workout videos or infomercials, and they splice them all up and they make them kind of creepy and kind of surreal and kind of weird. And I saw their live show. I've been super inspired by that. So I've done a couple episodes of what I call the Satanic Panic Attack, where it's taking archive footage from the Satanic Panic era and just, making it even more ridiculous, like kind of surreal. And yeah, that's been a lot of fun. That's been just a
It can get more ridiculous? That's just hard
It can.
to believe.
Remarkably, it can. But it's been really fun to just put that and just wade through all that old shit. Or like the Benny Hinn exorcism videos, where they're up on stage doing the fucking Super Saiyan moves, just exorcising, thousands of people all in one fucking fell swoop. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I've just been dicking around with that. But yeah, Citizen Valifar on YouTube. That's where I do all my stuff. So
Perfect. Well, my gamer tag on Xbox is Born in Blood. 3 separate words, all caps, Born in Blood. So hit me up and we'll play some fucking PUBG or something.
hell yeah.
Mine is J Rod Hemi. I just got to get PUBG first. JRODHEMI.
Anybody else? No? All right. You like
Nope,
it?
that's it. That's all the sharing we're doing.
Oh yeah, mine is
You're not friends.
mine's Fog FOG for Fanboys of Gaming is the clan I'm part of. Fog Will's Beard, all three separate words. Fog Will's Beard, and you can play with this. You can play with this lovely mane, and we'll shoot some folks.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a little more reserved, so I'll hit you guys up with my gamer tags.
Okay, we won't give it out. Yeah, Alder Strauss, he's a friend of mine. He just said he picked up PUBG so he wants to play tonight. So
Oh
Damn,
man, he was trying to
Oh
really
man, I
get
gotta
me.
work tonight, but
Well, actually, can you play that cross-platform? Like, if I get that for PS4, can I play against you on X?
no, I don't.
it's not on PS4 currently, and
Yeah.
it's not cross-platform yet. I heard they're gonna do it with PC to Xbox, but that was a rumor. I don't know if it's ever gonna happen.
That's not
Surprised
fair
they don't.
though, because PC you could.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, but
PC's
you,
got better
well,
video
shooting
cards.
with a mouse, it's easy. Try to
Same
shoot
company.
with a joystick. It's hard.
It's not the same
Sea
thing.
of Thieves is cross-platform. They are, and like Gears of War, they are getting games that play on Windows 10 and on the Xbox, but PUBG is not one of them, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
Well, Overwatch, I
Yes,
think, is Overwatch cross-platform? I think they were. I'm not sure.
that I'm not sure. It would not surprise me if Blizzard did do that because they're pretty open as far as bringing gamers together. But yeah, that I'm not 100% on.
Yeah.
They did StarCraft back in the day, didn't they?
Mhm. And StarCraft 2, which is pretty fucking rad. So I
And
highly recommend that as
StarCraft,
well.
Warcraft, World of Warcraft, and
Diablo.
yeah,
I
Diablo.
did Diablo, but that game I always associate him because that game stole my attention too.
Oh yeah,
Big
Yeah.
time.
Here we go, we're back.
Yeah, that's part 2.
Diablo figure.
Yeah, literally.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a USB stick.
Nice. Hell
Yeah, I've got a lot of these little collectibles. All these PC, like I have up here like a bunch of like box PC games, like some of my old like Fallout 1, Fallout 2.
Nice.
Yeah, those are my favorites.
Well, listen, guys, thanks again for coming on. Everyone, go get your game on. Triarch sucks. Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.